ago to move on and play the Braves. And the winner of this one finds themselves in the region final, where they will have to defeat Kaiser twice. Kaiser defeating Ottawa 19-5 last night. We're going to take a break before first pitch. You're listening to Braves Baseball on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
Ottawa University has positioned itself as a distinctive and rapidly expanding institution, known for its innovative educational models, exceptional value, and special ability to prepare diverse student populations for lifetimes of enlightened faith, exemplary service, inspired leadership, and personal significance. With numerous undergraduate and graduate degrees in business, education, arts and sciences, athletics, and more, you'll gain the specific expertise you need for a lifetime of significance and prosperity. Find out more by visiting ottawa.edu/OUKS.
There's no excuse when it comes to living your great life. You can join Great Life Golf and Fitness in Ottawa now and enjoy 9 or 18 holes in the fresh air with family or friends. And if golf isn't your game, surely a walk on the treadmill or a workout in their state-of-the-art fitness center will make you feel better. Join today. Visit greatlifeottawa.com.
Let's face it, auto insurance can be confusing. Do you know your comprehensive from your collision, your no-fault from liability, your premium from your deductible? After an accident is no time to find out that your definition of full coverage is actually different from what your policy says. Let local State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King explain auto insurance in terms you can understand.
I'm State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King. Let's work together to be sure your vehicle has the coverage you need. Call and schedule an appointment today at 242-9435. Stop by my office at 111 South Main in Ottawa or visit online at keithking.net.
If you're enjoying our coverage of OU Braves softball from the NAIA Championships in Oklahoma City and OU Braves baseball from the NAIA Championships in New Orleans, we ask that you please visit our sponsors who are helping to make these broadcasts possible. Great Life Golf and Fitness, Rock Creek of Ottawa, State Farm Insurance Agent Keith King, Ottawa University, El Mezcal Mexican Restaurant, and Kansas State Bank. We thank these local businesses for being supporters of the OU Braves teams in their postseason run for a national championship. On your home for OU Brave Sports, 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
If you're hungry, thirsty, or both, head to El Mezcal Mexican Restaurant and Cantina at 402 South Main in downtown Ottawa. With the best tasting Mexican cuisine, drinks made to order, and specials every day, you'll satisfy that hunger and thirst at El Mezcal. Dine in or carry out. El Mezcal, proud sponsors of Ottawa University Sports.
Welcome back to the New Orleans region and Segnet Field at the Hilario Center as the Ottawa University Braves, the number 5 seed, will be the home team on the scoreboard as they'll take the field in the all-whites with Braves across the chest in black outlined in gold, numbers in black outlined in gold. And it'll be Jeremy Husband on the mound making his first start of the season, his 20th appearance. He has a 2.96 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 17 walks, and 24 innings pitched. Did pitch yesterday against Loyola as he went 1 inning, ended up facing 4 batters. He was pulled out after giving up his 1 hit, no earned runs in that start. The longest outing of the season for Husband, 3 innings pitched versus Central Christian. 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 2 hits, no earned, and 10 batters faced. And he will face off against an Oklahoma City team that their numbers are very impressive. I mean, they come there, they're a perennial power, 35-18. The runners-up in the Sooner Athletic Conference regular season and in the postseason as the University of Science and Arts won it, but USAO has already been eliminated. It has been a crazy few days within the NAIA postseason as we've seen several number 1 seeds go down already, including the one seed Loyola, which lost a tough one just a little bit ago to this Oklahoma City team. The Stars have been down to their final out twice. They were against Benedictine, happened in the 9th inning. They were down by a run. Today they were down 3 runs in the 8th inning, came back able to tie it and take it into extras where they won it in the 12th inning. As we will see pitch number 1 from Jeremy Husband, a spot in the region final on the line as the Braves take on the Stars from Oklahoma City. And it will be the center fielder and Gunnar Halter who takes fastball high for ball 1. First pitch at 3:30. Weather going to play a factor. 80 degrees. We're expecting heavy rain and thunderstorms within the next hour to hour and a half, and it's supposed to continue until overnight. That pitch right back up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for Spradlin. He won't make it as there'll be a leadoff single for Halter up the middle. And similar to what we did with Kaiser yesterday, you're going to hear a lot of Division I schools as places that they have transferred from in. Husband, I believe, took that one off the arm, and now Coach Gabe Grinder is going to come out and talk to his pitcher along with trainer Seth Bell. Halter from Overland Park actually played at Blue Valley High School Previous school was Mississippi State. He started the season at short and has had to move to center as they have dealt with some injuries throughout the year. And they're going to let Husband throw a couple pitches before they get this one back underway, which he seems to be okay. Slowed down the ball just a little bit. But 80 degrees at first pitch. It feels like 85. Humidity at 73%, but we're under a wind advisory as the wind's going to be at around 15 to 25, gusts at 40, so it's just like we're playing back in Ottawa on a normal Saturday afternoon. But at least we have a little shade here. First pitch showing bunt and bringing it back is the two-hitter, Noah Barks, the second baseman. He did go around. The umpire behind home plate did not signal a strike, but definitely showed bunt and went around for strike one. That one wasn't even close. And they're going to come out and talk about it. No balls, one strike. Runner at first. The leadoff single from Gunnar Halter. Noah Barks, and 5'11" junior from Mustang, Oklahoma. 0-1 delivery to him, a breaking ball for a strike. It's quickly 0-2. So Oklahoma City offensively was shut out against Kaiser 8-0, and putting that in parentheses, facing off against Daravallo from Kaiser, who went a complete game, 14 strikeouts, no walks. And I would assume if he's able to go potentially for an if-necessary game, someone's going to have to deal with him again as Ottawa throws over to first. Game two, they were kept scoreless until the ninth inning. They were trailing 2-0, scored 2 runs, forced it into extras. Benedictine went up 3-2 and then 4-3 as Oklahoma City came back and then ended up winning it in extras. Runner going, that one fouled back to the screen. Remain at 0, no balls and 2 strikes. Marks hitting .315, 3 home runs, 29 runs batted in. A lethal top of the lineup for Oklahoma City, who has most recently been to the World Series in 2018. Breaking ball from Husband that Antonetti able to deal with. Defensive alignment for OU, Ariano in left, Kohler in center, Eckstein in right, Bannister at third, Aguilar at short, Spradlin at second, Kratzenberg at first, behind the plate, Elliot Antonetti, and Jeremy Husband on the mound. 1-2 delivery. This one going to be shot for a base hit between third and short, and quickly runners at first and second and no outs for the Stars. And the first inning has been an adventure for OU, the entire regional. They were able to get out of the jam against Benedictine with runners at first and second with no outs. Loyola loaded the bases. And then last night, Kaiser scores 3 in the first inning as they loaded the bases on 3 walks. Ottawa got it to 2 outs, but a single to left field ended up scoring all 3 runs. Delivery from Husband fouled back. Jeremy, the 5'11" junior from Kingwood, Texas, played at Northeastern State, which is in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Runners at first and second for the Stars, no outs. Delivery from Jeremy, lifted to short and right at Aguilar, who makes the catch for the first out in the top of the first inning. And a soft liner. Brings up Dalton Reed, who tied up the game. My apologies, made it a 3-2 game in the 8th inning on a home run over the 364 side in right field. You can make your decision. You go back and watch it on the stream. I'm sure you can make a decision on whether Antonetti has hit the farthest or if Reed has hit the farthest so far, but it cleared no doubter to right field. Those two have had the most impressive home runs. This is a chopper to first. Kratzenberg sticks his glove out, steps on the bag for the second out of the inning. Runners do move over to second and third for OCU. Oklahoma City traveling 711 miles to New Orleans, 10.5-hour drive. Official colors for the Stars are blue and white. They've only worn black jerseys while they've been here. White numbers outlined in blue. Oklahoma City across the chest outline, or a little line under it, similar to what you would see from Oklahoma State. They have an enrollment of 1,700 and As you would expect, they are in downtown Oklahoma City. Fastball from Husband for a strike. It's 0-1. Jeremy's thrown 10 pitches, make it 11. Bryson Leary, the third baseman, hitting fifth in the lineup for the Stars. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. Top of the first, no score. 0-1 delivery, chopped to third. Bannister on a hop. Will go to first for the out. His Husband able to get out of a jam in the top of the first inning. Go to the bottom. Oklahoma City, nothing. Braves coming to the play. You're listening to Braves Baseball on 1220 and 103.7 FM KLFO.
Spring cleaning means throwing out the old and starting new, and that's what we've done at Kansas State Bank. Hi, this is Shelby, card specialist. If you've received your new Kansas State Bank chip card, get ready for peace of mind, knowing your new card comes with more safeguards, more security, and more options for you. To activate your card, simply use it as debit with your current PIN. You can also activate your new Kansas State Bank chip card using the updated telephone banking system. Kansas State Bank, member FDIC.
The sound of a loved one's heartbeat tugs at your heartstrings and may also lower your heart rate. Visit adventhealth.com/feelwhole to learn more.
And we're back here at Segnet Field in New Orleans as the Braves able to get out of a no-out first and second runner jam. And Jeremy Husband getting more comfortable, and he just threw strikes, which is exactly what Ottawa needs to try and pick up some innings. Just 12 pitches for him through 1. And whoever plays against Kaiser, which unfortunately with the way the weather has impacted this regional, Kaiser, the 2 seed, has actually had more rest than anyone else, even more than Loyola, who had to end up playing the 11 a.m. game yesterday against OU and then had to turn around and play the morning game today. And Kaiser, who has not played more than one game a day while they've been here, is they won on Monday evening, came back yesterday evening after Ottawa played that game against Loyola. The Braves had about an hour break before they had to get back to the stadium, and Kaiser took advantage as they put 19 on the board. Ottawa had it at 7-5 through 5 innings, and then the wheels just came off as the Seahawks went for 12 runs over the final 4 innings. Leading it off for OU, Zach Spradlin, the second baseman. And they will go against Tanner Schoninger, 6-3. He'll make his 12th start of the season. All of his appearances have been starts. 2.21 ERA and 57 innings pitched. He is a righty. 58 strikeouts, 21 walks, has gone 2 complete. His last start, though, struggled against Southwestern Assemblies of God out of Texas. Just 4 2/3 innings pitched, 7 runs, no earned, and gave up 7 hits. So his defense behind him didn't help him out a whole lot. Spradlin starts it off for OU, and he'll take fastball high for ball 1. Schoninger going to work out of that modified windup. Not a whole lot going on there. 1-0 pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. It's 1-1 as he toes the rubber from the far left side and stands facing like he's working out of the stretch with feet together. And then just a little soft step to the inside, and he'll deliver that fastball well outside 2-1. Spradlin 1 for 4 last night, scored a run, drew a walk. He scored in that first inning after Ottawa was down 3-0. They responded with 2 runs. 2-1 delivery, and Spradlin goes around on the check swing, 2-2. First time the Braves aren't wearing the gold pants while they've been here. That's been quite a talk on social media. Going with the traditional all-whites. 2-2 delivery. Fastball outside, ball 3. Schoninger, 6'5". He's a senior from Fort Collins, Colorado. And he played at Northeastern in Colorado. Looks like he was at Fort Collins before he came to Oklahoma City. Chopped foul from Spradlin. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Outside of it being windy, a beautiful day. That wind blowing from the southeast currently and whipping around. 3-2 pitch going to be shot towards third. Up with it is Leary in the throw in time to get Spradlin. One down in the first. So remaining teams in the New Orleans bracket, Ottawa, the number 5 seed, the number 3 seed, Oklahoma City, and everyone looking up at Kaiser, who sits 2-0. Ooh, if you just take the name off of Kaiser's jerseys, you could say that is a quality Sun Belt team, to say the least. That is full of chocked of D1 guys. First pitch, Ariano sees. He'll ground out to second for out number 2. As they just threw D1 player after D1 player in that lineup last night. Hard to believe they were 14-10 in Sun Conference play. Brings up Rylan Kratzenberg, who picked up his 23rd home run of the season last night, which got Ottawa within 2 at trailing 7-5. Breaking ball outside, 1-0. And he hasn't seen a fastball since maybe mid-March. Last night, breaking ball that hung up to the inner part of the plate, and he's able to rip it over the fence in left field. 1-0 delivery in the dirt, 2-0. Two on the way from Schoeninger in the dirt, 3-0. And they are not looking to give up a home run here to start the game, as they have haven't delivered a strike yet. He'll get a fastball, but it's on the outside corner. It's 3-1. Kratzenberg hitting .405, has driven in 73. 3-1 delivery, fastball that he chops, just misses, and that's going to be a fair ball. Leary takes it on one hop, throws in time. Braves go in order. We go to the second inning, no score between Ottawa and Oklahoma City. You listen to Braves Baseball on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFL.
If you want farm fresh, then today's your day. The Ottawa Farmers Market is back with another Wednesday market from 4 to 6 in the Orchlands parking lot in South Ottawa. Feed your family right with the best tasting and healthiest produce around, grown by your local farmers and friends. Meats, eggs, sweets, honey, veggies, and more. And if beautifying your home is the plan, find your fresh cut flowers, starters, hanging baskets, and other home decor. The Ottawa Farmers Market, the freshest way to shop. Today from 4 to 6 in the Orchlands parking lot in South Ottawa. We hope you're enjoying our OU Braves sports broadcast from the NAIA Championships on KOFO. It's our pleasure to bring you both the OU Braves baseball and softball games from their respective opening rounds. And we congratulate both head coaches, Jay Kent and Gabe Grinder, as well as their teams on their successful seasons. We also want to congratulate head women's flag football coach Liz Sowers and her squad for winning the NAIA National Flag Football Championship in their inaugural season. OU Braves Sports and KOFO, a winning combination. Heard exclusively on 103.7 FM, 1220, and online at KOFO.com.
Braves go 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the first inning, as Braves grounded out 3 times. 2 choppers to third, 1 to second, against Schoeninger, who threw 13 pitches. Jeremy Husband back on the mound for his second inning of work. Gave up 2 leadoff singles, but able to retire the next 3. They'll start with number 6 in the lineup, the catcher, John Anton, who's going to chop this one foul towards the OCU dugout. No balls and a strike. Anton hitting .317, 11 home runs, 34 runs batted in. 0-1 from Husband, a breaking ball lifted deep to center field. Kohler's going to have to go back and get it, but the wind shuts it right down, and he has plenty of time to make the catch for the first out. The wind at 16 miles an hour blowing out of the southeast. We are back in Westwego, Louisiana. 1 down for the 7-hitter, Frederick Walter. First pitch to him, a fastball misses outside from Husband, ball 1. OCU, unlike Ottawa, hasn't tried to mix up the jerseys a whole lot. They've only changed their pant color. They've worn that black jersey the whole time they've been here. Hopefully they have more than 1 pair that they brought with them. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, or that bus will be difficult to handle. They're going with the white pants today. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out in the top of the second. Delivery from Husband outside again with the fastball, 2-1. Walter hitting .287. He's driven in 38. Has 8 home runs. 2-1 delivery, and it's in on the hands. That looked like it started at foul, but a trickler over to Bannister makes a nice play as it went over the top of the bag. And Kratzenberg with the nice lunge make the catch for out number 2. And you've seen ominous clouds throughout the week, but so far we've been lucky to miss most of it. The game was postponed on Monday due to heavy rains, where Ottawa finally got started at 4 p.m. on Monday afternoon. 2 down in the second for the left fielder, Peyton Crispin. He fouls one out of play, as this will be the first lefty that Husband sees. Crispin, the 6-foot senior, transfer from Connors State. 0-1 delivery. Hits this one towards Aguilar, goes off the end of his glove and into left field for a 2-out single. Third hit for OCU. Aguilar with a nice diving effort, but that ball was tailing away from him. Only way he makes that play is he gets that glove under the ball and snags it. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be a play he could have made over at first. Crispin with good speed. 9-hole hitter, the designated hitter, Jared Hazeltine. He's going to chop this one towards Bannister. He's going to get up, throw, make it in time for the third out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base for the Stars. We go to the bottom of the second, no score. You listen to Braves Baseball on 1220 and 103.7 FM KOFO.
DQ presents. Picture this. Picture the new DQ Summer Blizzard treat menu with iconic flavors that taste like instant summer. You order the one and only Drumstick Blizzard with peanuts. Oh, wow. Crunchy waffle cone pieces, world-famous DQ soft serve, and Blue Sky Bliss. Or maybe you get the Brownie Batter Blizzard. Ooh, wee. Fudgy brownie goodness. You're feeling breezy and dreamy all over. Moments like these are why the new DQ Summer Blizzard treat menu exists. Get it delivered at DQ.com. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Great Life Golf and Fitness is a proud supporter of Ottawa University sports, and they support you in your goal to live and play better. The Great Life state-of-the-art fitness center in downtown Ottawa is accessible 24 hours a day, and the golf course is ready and waiting for your game. Join today. Visit GreatLifeOttawa.com.
21 pitches for Jeremy Husband through 2 innings, and again, throwing strikes. Has gotten some ground outs. He's given up a couple hits, but otherwise put the ball in the strike zone. After the Braves surrendered 15 walks last night against Kaiser, to just 10 strikeouts. And if I go back and look, I would say of the 19 runs that Kaiser scored, more than half of them were due to runners on base. Give credit to Kaiser. They had 19 runs on 15 hits, but early on, their first 7 runs were scored on just 2 hits. Braves had a couple errors. Leading it off for OU, number 20, Holland Bone. 0 for 3 against Kaiser with a walk. Had a home run in the morning game against Loyola, his first of the tournament, which gave Ottawa a 4-1 lead in the 6th. 1 ball and no strikes to the righty, and he takes fastball outside quickly 2-0. And Oklahoma City, who, even though, coming into this one, they are the perennial power of all the teams that are here. They've got the most experience. That one's going to be chopped to short and quickly delivered to first. Credit to them. Their coaching staff has watched every single game while we've been here. They've sat right in front of me as we're up near the concourse at the top. But Danny Craybon, his 31st season, has probably taken about 30 pages of notes on every single hitter that is here. So they have watched Ottawa play both games, him and his whole staff. Credit to them for putting in the work. Elliot Antonetti, first pitch he sees, which that one left over the middle of the plate, and Elliot knows he missed that one. It's 0-1. When you've got 1,500 wins, it's not out of luck for Craybon. 0-1 delivery, breaking ball. It's going to be lifted to center field. Is that ball going to drop? It is, as Antonetti continues his hot tournament. He's got a home run. He's got a triple, and a couple singles, and Ottawa will get a pinch runner for him, and it'll be Zach Henry, the senior speedster out of Kent, Washington. And the hottest hitter from last night, Kyle Bannister, to the plate. He was 3 for 4, scored a run, and really did a nice job of working it to left field, driving it from that right side of the box, and put it between short and third 3 times on well-hit balls. That ball dropped by the catcher, and Henry takes second on a delayed steal. Caught Anton off guard, who made some big throws against Loyola in the game prior to this one. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. Braves with the runner in scoring position. Top of the second inning, no score. 1-0 to Bannister. It's going to be chopped back to the pitcher. It's high. They need enough time for Henry to get to third. It's lobbed over to first. Bannister made it a close play, but it's out number 2. 2 down for Gabe Eckstein. Stein 0 for 2 with a walk against Kaiser. Henry stands at third. He pinch ran for Elliot Antonetti. And time is called, and is there a balk? Are we going to call a balk here? Umpire takes his mask off and has something to say to Schoeninger. And I believe it's just a warning. But he doesn't really work out of your traditional stretch look, just going to go straight out of his windup again. First pitch to Eckstein for a strike on the lower part of the zone. It's 0-1. 2 down, bottom of the second. Ottawa with the runner at third. Eckstein at the plate. Delivery going to be chopped to second. This is going to be a routine grounder, and that'll do it for Ottawa in the second inning. They get a runner to third, but leave them stranded. No runs, 1 hit. As we are complete through 2, you're listening to Braves Baseball on 1220, 103.7 FM KOFO.
How come I can't get my car looking like that? Oh, hey, how is it going? Car looks great.
Thanks. Just put another coat on it.
Coat of?
Graphene nanospray coating from 303. It brings the paint to life, but also protects it.
Gotta be expensive.
Not a chance. Plus, you get a year of protection, and the water beating is crazy. Have a good one.
You too. Guess I know what I'm doing this weekend.
The new 303 Graphene Nano Spray Coating. Available now at Advance Auto Parts and Pep Boys.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Welcome back to Segnet Field as we start the third inning. Both teams have been able to get runners in scoring position. Oklahoma City had runners at second and third with 1 out and unable to score in the first inning. And then Ottawa gets a runner to third with 2 outs and leaves him standing at third. Back to the top of the OCU lineup with Gunnar Halter.
This bus, there'll be like a huge TV screen on a little bit of a summer break after this past.
Department is coming to your house, but certainly likes the fire department, so we're glad that you could join us today. I'm going to start with the school district today, and I'm going to let Linda talk and tell us about, we want to hear from you, because everybody else hears from, we're going to hear from your highest elected official, and we're going to let Linda talk. So,
well, there's so much that goes on with the school district.
Oftentimes we take a deeper dive than we do. We had two different locations that we were thinking about. We were thinking about here at the airport, and everybody likes the fire department unless the fire department is coming to your house, but certainly likes the fire department, so we're glad that you could join us today. I'm going to start with the school district today, and I'm going to let Linda talk and tell us about, we want to hear from you, because everybody else hears from, we're going to hear from your highest elected official, and we're going to let Linda talk. So,
well, there's so much that goes on with the school district. What do you want to know?
I want you to give us what you'd like us to know.
Okay, there's going to be sunshine on Saturday.
All right. Yeah, I hope so.
That's what they say. So we can have a good graduation and not much of a chance of rain on Friday night either. There's just a whole lot going on. What do you want to know, Sarah?
Honestly, this meeting is just designed for you to let the other governing bodies know what's going on, and oftentimes we take a deeper dive than we do in our meetings and in our formal meetings, and we have some deeper conversations about how we can all work together.
They just opened up a new superintendent.
He's leaving to be a firefighter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim is really excited about the prospect.
He interviewed for the Dalmatian position.
Yeah, that's right along up top in his spotted suit.
It's all good.
We have some fantastic people retiring this year that we're going to miss.
How many people?
Jackie Stillman, who's taught 40-something years. Deidre Altic, Alan Cunningham, and Renee Crenshaw. They're all retiring.
Along with Melissa Mitchell. And there's somebody else in there too that I'm forgetting. Deb Morful, who's a great special education teacher. All retiring this year. I think total we counted up 200 and some odd years of experience.
I think that's include Jackie and Deidre.
There's a lot. One of the things that I'm sure that Paul will talk about is the conversation we're having about work keys communities and our workforce development program. This is really a big deal, and it is something that is not offered amongst many communities. Really a tie between your community, or between your school, your development council, and your industry, and creating a level of support within each each one of those entities to try to draw a better understanding and develop a very clear pipeline of workforce to our industry. And for schools to be able to provide specific skill opportunities and learning situations for kids, which will mean that we'll have some years, I think.
Dee Rialtic, Alan Cunningham, and Renee Crenshaw. They're all retired.
Along with Melissa Mitchell, and there's somebody else in there too that I'm forgetting. Deb Morfel, who's a great special education teacher, all retiring this year. I think total we counted up 200 and some odd years of experience.
I think just include Jasmine Deidre, there's a hundred.
There's a lot. One of the things that I'm sure that Paul will talk about is the conversation we're having about work keys communities and our workforce development program. This is really a big deal, and it is something that is not offered amongst many communities. Really a tie between your community, or between your school, your development council, and your industry, and creating a lot. One of the things that I'm sure that Paul will talk about is the conversation we're having about work keys communities and our workforce development program. This is really a big deal, and it is something that is not offered amongst many communities. Really a tie between your community, or between your school, your development council, and your industry, and creating a level of support within each one of those entities to try to draw a better understanding and develop a very clear pipeline of workforce to our industry. And for schools to be able to provide specific skill opportunities and learning situations for kids, which will mean that we'll have some conversations. We'll use American Eagle as an example. But what are the skill sets they really need to drive in our employees? Can we provide those skill sets within a school environment, create a manner in which we can show that students have either mastered those skills or are currently working towards becoming proficient in those skills, and then as they apply for those positions, be able to provide a report that says this student can do this and this and this and this in your environment. So when you begin to think about less than 50% of our students choose to go on to a post-secondary education, and less than 30% of them actually finish post-secondary education, we're going to graduate 170 some odd students this year, which means that somewhere around 100 of them are going to stay within our community within the next year. Right? Some of them may go to college one time and they're probably coming back. So we want to make sure that not only are we developing understanding with them that they should go and try to expand their passions and horizons, whatever that happens to be, if that's 2-year institutions, 4-year institutions, trade schools, whatever that may be, please go. But know that they can come back here and have high-wage, high-demand positions waiting for them upon their return, that they have the skill set in order to be successful in. So that'll be a big one, and Paul will talk about that, I'm sure, a little bit more. Yeah, so you can all thank me later, but you don't have to listen to Paul.
Meeting's over.
Yeah. So end of school is on Friday of next week, which is going to be a great day. Kids release at about 11 o'clock, and we'll have some celebration with our staff to commemorate the coming of summer and the excitement that is with having a little bit of a summer break after this past year. So that'll be a huge deal. Graduation is Saturday, 8th grade promotion is Friday this week at Steve Grogan Stadium. If you haven't seen the completion of the turf and track project now, it looks awesome. It is. We have phenomenal facilities. It is amazing to me that for years our community was the one that went to Eudora and Spring Hill and Lewisburg and talked about why we can't have this and why do our kids get left out, and now all of those groups are coming to us going, oh my God. Because we are, I believe, the only 4A school in the state of Kansas that has a soccer-only turf facility, which is something to be said. It's pretty awesome. It looks killer and it plays great. And then our football and track now really top notch. So we'll continue to upgrade our facilities, and there are lots of things going on. But I think those are getting through graduation, getting through promotion, probably the most important thing. So thank God I took it from them.
Well, graduation is
The
important.
band concert last week was on the football field. They had a pep band concert, which was great, because a lot of people hadn't seen on their church. So, good.
What's just because in this community we tend to think that everything is like, we still call it a new middle school.
Yes. Yep.
That's a 20-year-old building now.
Yes, it's almost 25. I believe Ottawa Middle School was built in 1997. So it's getting up there in age. We currently just finished the renovation on the inside of it to keep it up to date. Garfield was renovated 12 years ago now. Lincoln renovated 12 years ago now. Eugene Field renovated about 15 years ago now. And we're currently doing some renovations inside of it. So all of our buildings really are new within 15 years or so. And again, I don't know too many districts that can compete with us in terms of facilities, especially if you now count all of the ancillary pieces. Now, I am fairly positive that the next step will be a significant push to do something with baseball and softball and tennis. They're the only things that still require our students to go off campus for. And honestly, it would be really nice to be able to do all of those things right there at our facility. So we'll have some of those conversations, I'm sure, moving forward. But certainly baseball, softball, and tennis would be huge additions to already great facilities.
And if you've heard about the STEAM bus that Lori Howard is working on. Have you all heard about that? Yeah, that's an amazing project.
Yes.
Involving hundreds of students.
If you haven't heard about the STEAM bus, this is what we did. Lori Howard went to Texas for some conference, and a school down there had built a traveling schoolhouse out of an old charter bus.
St. Mrs. Crystal.
So she came back with this idea and presented it to our board, and our board approved the process. But we took an old bus, like an old Bluebird bus, and our students have gutted with it. Filled out a little bit more. Yeah, so you can all thank me later, but you don't have to listen to Paul.
Meeting's over.
Yeah. So end of school is on Friday of next week, which is going to be a great day. Kids release at about 11 o'clock, and we'll have some celebration with our staff to commemorate the coming of summer and the excitement that is with having a little bit of a summer break after this past year. So that'll be a huge deal. Graduation is Saturday, and great promotion is Friday this week at Steve Grogan Stadium. If you haven't seen the completion of the turf and track project now, it looks awesome. It is. We have phenomenal facilities. It is amazing to me that for years our community was the one that went to Eudora and Spring Hill and Lewisburg and talked about why we can't have this and why do our kids get left out, and now all of those groups are coming to us going, oh my God. Because we are, I believe, the only 4A school in the state of Kansas that has a soccer-only turf facility, which is something to be said. It's pretty awesome. It looks killer and it plays great. And then our football and track, really top notch. So we'll continue to upgrade our facilities, and there are lots of things going on. But I think those are getting through graduation, getting through promotion, probably the most important thing. So thank God I took it from them.
Well, graduation is
The
important.
band concert last week was on the football field. They had a pep band concert, which was great, because a lot of people hadn't seen on their church. So, good.
What's just because in this community we tend to think that everything is like, we still call it a new middle school.
Yes. Yep.
That's a 20-year-old building now.
Yes, it's almost 25. I believe Ottawa Middle School was built in 1997. So it's getting up there in age. We currently just finished the renovation on the inside of it to Eugene Field renovated about 15 years ago now, and we're currently doing some renovations inside of it. So all of our buildings really are new within 15 years or so. And again, I don't know too many districts that can compete with us in terms of facilities, especially if you now count all of the ancillary pieces. Now, I am fairly positive that the next step will be a significant push to do something with baseball and softball and tennis. They're the only things that still require our students to go off campus for. And honestly, it would be really nice to be able to do all of those things right there at our facility. So we'll have some of those conversations, I'm sure, moving forward. But certainly baseball, softball, and tennis would be huge additions to already great facilities.
And if you've heard about the STEAM bus that Lori Howard is working on, have you all heard about that? Yeah, that's an amazing project.
Yes.
Involving hundreds of students.
If you haven't heard about the STEAM bus, this is what we did. Lori Howard went to Texas for some conference, and a school down there had built a traveling schoolhouse out of an old charter bus.
Think Mrs. Frizzle.
So she came back with this idea and presented it to our board, and our board approved the process. But we took an old bus, like an old Bluebird bus, and our students have gutted the thing. Filled the panels, molded it in, so it's a solid bus now, and we're turning it into a mobile classroom. Part of this is that we want to tie it to the different career pathways and be able to take that program to individual schools instead of bringing kids to the high school, right? So one of the ideas that we have, and will be one of the first ones that we implement, will be part of the aviation pathway. So within this bus, there'll be like a huge TV screen on the backside and a big awning that comes out. Kids can go in, and there'll be classroom spaces on the inside of the bus, and then we'll create exterior classroom spaces. It'll be wrapped, it'll look awesome, it'll do all of those things. But the aviation pathway has a piece, a component to it in which we can build drones. So the idea was that we buy enough components, we go to the elementary school, let's say that we take third grade students at whatever elementary school, we have enough components that all of them can build their own drone. And we teach them about the different concepts in building a drone and lift versus downforce, all of those things, right? And really get behind the concepts of what aviation is. And start to build interest and excitement around aviation and moving into those pathways as they get into the high school. Another one we talked to American Eagle about prior to the pandemic. American Eagle was talking about using some of their space outside of the main building for like a butterfly reserve and like a nature park. And so we talked about creating a biology pathway that would go out there and really teach the different things within the nature park, partnering with American Eagle to do so. So really kind of a cool concept and one that is beginning to take shape. Our kids have done amazing things in building this bus. It will be honestly one of the coolest things I think that we have done through Ottawa High School, through the ST 290, and you will see it a lot once it starts going places. We're going to use it, that's for sure. So it'll be fun.
That's awesome. Thank you for your update. Appreciate it. Cole, would you like to talk about what's going on in the county?
You know, I don't have a whole lot that comes to mind that I think would be interesting. The one thing I'm sitting here thinking on my chair is we've been talking about doing something with the old Crestview retirement facility. That's the one south of 7th Street. I don't know. It's an old building we own. The county used to be in the retirement home business. Of course, we're not. And we store some things there. The Historical Society is the major tenant that's there, but the facility is dilapidated. It's an eyesore. It's end of its life by any reasonable way you look at it. One thing that a lot of folks, especially the Historical Society, are excited about is the prospect of maybe using the visitor center, and along with still having the visitor center use out there, but the two entities sharing that facility. It would be a huge upgrade for them. And you know, been having conversations and trying to make that work and see what that might look like. Derek, what do you think? Anything else?
Yeah, I do want to talk about 2022 budget just a little bit. We continue to make progress on that. We haven't attempted to start putting everything together yet. We're still refining individual budgets. I will tell you, we don't anticipate being revenue neutral, and so per the new legislation, we will have to send out the truth and taxation notice or whatever it's called. We're staying probably as flat as we've ever been, but I don't believe that it's fiscally responsible for us to not budget for raises pursuant to our pay plan for our employees, and then we never know what benefits are going to do. We can't control that, but historically they go up. But by and large, those will be our primary increases. We'll find efficiencies elsewhere, but I don't believe it will be to the level where we can stay revenue neutral. We're also looking at, we keep a pretty close eye on the CPI, and we historically give like 1% cost of living raises as well. I think we're probably going to recommend the board somewhere up around 1.6 this year, just given, again, where the CPI is at. And while I've got the city in the room, though, I will be in front of all of you here within the next few weeks to discuss our dispatch budget. Happy to show up and walk through that. I've already let Richard know that budget will be flat this year. And I don't mean largely flat. We don't anticipate to ask the city for another cent over what we did in 2020. So we can talk through that if you want. Nick and I can be there, but Janet and I just finalized that budget this morning. We'll get it over to Richard. We feel like we don't have 2020 audited actuals yet, but we feel like we've done this long enough now. We've got our staffing under control. We've got a pretty good idea at this point, because we've done it for several years, where we'll be financially. So that is one of our budgets that will be truly revenue neutral or truly flat.
I don't think there's anybody in this group that wouldn't know the difference, but there's no doubt our mill levy is going to probably go down a substantial amount. But our revenue would likely tick up some, just inflation. Yeah, cost everybody.
I've got a question. I guess it's probably more for Janet, who sends out the notices. But if you have more than one entity, and probably, I know you're going to have two, maybe three at least.
4,000. Really all over.
Do you send one notice, or do you have to send one for each entity?
Yeah, it's a combined notice that they developed. I kind of did a little sample for our mission at the retreat of what we're anticipating that it looks like. Basically, it'll be just something generated by our computer software that I'll go in there and enter, the dates of each entity's budget hearing and what tax they plan to levy and what the revenue neutral rate is, and it will generate this report. And so I believe the way that it's being told to us is that it will include everybody on it, even if you're going to be within the limits, so that everyone will know, like, these are the entities on my tax statement, these are when their hearings are, but these people are going to be revenue neutral, and these people are going to be the ones that aren't.
But and do you separate out the pass-through portion of that as well, like for the ORC or for the Ottawa Library, or is that included with the...
For you guys, I don't believe that we would separate out the library, but ORC does generally show up separately on the statements from the school district. Because of the way the school district levies funds, they have, a portion of their supplemental general that would include, bond and interest and other things.
under general fund, right, for the next couple of years,
So
correct?
for the first 2 years, the cost of sending out the statement is supposed to be covered by the state. I would caution any of you that do not plan to budget for this cost because, as you've seen with other things in the past, if you've been around very long at all, the state sometimes promises they're going, don't take it.
Out the statement is covered under general fund, right, for the next couple of years, correct?
So for the first 2 years, the cost of sending out the statement is supposed to be covered by the state. I would caution any of you that do not plan to budget for this cost because, as you've seen with other things in the past, if you've been around very long at all, the state sometimes promises they're going, don't take it.
Probably going to recommend the board somewhere up around 1.6 this year, just given, again, where the CPI is at. And while I've got the city in the room, though, I will be in front of all of you here within the next few weeks to discuss our dispatch budget. Happy to show up and walk through that, but I've already let Richard know that budget will be flat this year. I don't mean largely flat. We don't anticipate to ask the city for another cent over what we did in 2020. So we can talk through that if you want. Nick and I can be there, but Janet and I just finalized that budget this morning. We'll get it over to Richard. We feel like we don't have 2020 audited actuals yet, but we feel like we've done this long enough now. We've got our staffing under control. We've got a pretty good idea at this point because we've done it for several years where we'll be financially. So that is one of our budgets that will be truly revenue neutral or truly flat.
I don't think there's anybody in this group that wouldn't know the difference, but there's no doubt our mill levy is going to probably go down a substantial amount. But our revenue would probably tick up some, just inflation. Yeah, cost everybody.
I've got a question. I guess it's probably more for Janet, who sends out the notices. But if we have more than one entity, and probably, I know you're going to have two, maybe three at least.
4,000. Really all over.
Do you send one notice, or do you have to send one for each entity?
Yeah, it's a combined notice that they developed. I kind of did a little sample for our mission at the retreat of what we're anticipating that it looks like. Basically, it'll be just something generated by our computer software that I'll go in there and enter, the dates of each these are when their hearings are, but these people are going to be revenue neutral, and these people are going to be the ones that aren't.
But and do you separate out the pass-through portion of that as well, like for the ORC or for the Ottawa Library, or is included with the...
For you guys, I don't believe that we would separate out the library, but ORC does generally show up separately on the statements from the school district because of the way the school district levies funds. They have, a portion of their supplemental general that would include, bond and interest and other things, and then they have their 20 mills that is levied by the state. So that's a completely separate fund, and then the rec center is a completely separate fund. So, and it's not this way for USD 290, but depending on when they have a bond issue or something, if their boundary lines are changed, they could potentially have a different value for those different separations of the budget. Wellsville in particular does have that because they have that new steel plant up there, and so that steel plant is only subject to tax for the capital outlay portion of the budget. They don't have to pay. They're tax exempt for the rest of the school district, so they don't pay any school district funds except the capital outlay fund. So their values are different for different funds. It's only a little bit complicated.
The way that the bill was written, though, the cost for sending out the statement is covered under general fund, right, for the next couple of years, correct?
So for the first 2 years, the cost of sending out the statement is supposed to be covered by the state. I would caution any of you that do not plan to budget for this cost because, as you've seen with other things in the past, if you've been around very long at all, the state sometimes promises they're going to do some things and then they don't. It's all public. But everyone at my conference that I just went to with my county clerks from all the other counties, we were cautioned by budget departments, by many other people that we had at our conference to not get too in dreamland thinking that this is going to happen, that we need to start preparing now to bear the cost of it. Because even if the state does pay for the 2 years, like they're planning to, we're going to have to bear the cost of that after that. And there's a formula for dividing that up among taxes.
Let me just ask this question. This might be a really dumb question, but what I'm hearing is that the city is probably not going to remain neutral, but the county is probably not going to remain neutral, and it's positive that the school is not going to remain neutral. But can we just combine a letter?
It's all in one statement. It's all in one, and then there's a formula to decide, to determine it, like how we all pay. Like, I'm going to just go ahead and say 75% to USD 290, and like, the other 25 to the city, the county's off free.
That's fine. We'll just ask the legislature for more money.
Seems like an argument kind of question.
And the return address is the county.
You know what? Honestly, if you guys don't know when people come in to pay their taxes, they're pretty sure that we're getting all $3,000 of that tax revenue that tax bill says, and they're pretty sure that we're wasting every dollar of it. So you guys are off the hook once the tax statement goes out.
Since we last met, another thing Janet and I are working closely on, the federal government has released guidance on Biden's stimulus. We've been made aware we're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million additional stimulus dollars. And I'll tell you, I've said this to my board several times, probably said it to this group. Conventional wisdom would say that that's a great thing, that we're getting
That's the interrefinable.
Interrefinable, right.
The rules that have been written on this napkin that will now go in the trash.
And I know that cities are apparently getting their own allotment, but are schools getting their own under this plan?
We're not getting our own allotment, it's part of yours.
Okay.
So I know that they're still discussing what ESSER 3 looks like for us. How it impacts any additional dollars is yet to be funneled to us. But I know that currently we don't have access to what we would consider ESSER 3, how that aligns to the carrier or everything else. I don't know. But I know that when this is all said and done, between Sparks, ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and what is supposed to be ESSER 3, Vistance United is going to be looking at somewhere between $5 and $6 million additional dollars. Again, I think some of the same issues that you indicate is that we had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers didn't want to do it. And by law, I can't force additional time, and I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side of how our systems are set up have to agree to any additional time spent in our buildings. And if they choose not to, then those funds can't be utilized. And by law, I can't force additional time, and I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult. Ours is yet to be funneled to us. But I know that currently we don't have access to what we would consider ESSER 3, how that aligns to the carrier or everything else. I don't know. But I know that when this is all said and done, between Sparks, ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and what is supposed to be ESSER 3, Vistance United is going to be looking at somewhere between $5 and $6 million additional dollars. Again, I think some of the same issues that you indicate is that we had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers didn't want to do it. And by law, I can't force additional time, and I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side of how our systems are set up have to agree to any additional time spent in our buildings. And if they choose not to, then those funds can't be utilized. It'll be a struggle. I don't know how they understand anything.
You will though. You will though.
I feel like he's the Dairy Queen director.
Yeah. You just hand them a box of deli bars. Teacher side of how our systems are set up. But I know that when this is all said and done, between Sparks, ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and what is supposed to be ESSER 3, Vistance United is going to be looking at somewhere between $5 and $6 million additional dollars. Again, I think some of the same issues that you indicate is that we had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers didn't want to do it. And by law, I can't force additional time, and I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side of how our systems are set up have to agree to any additional time spent in our buildings. And if they choose not to, then those funds can't be utilized. What is supposed to be ESSER 3 work. What is supposed to be ESSER 3 work. President tonight is going to be looking at somewhere between $5 and $6 million additional dollars. Again, I think some of the same issues that you indicate is that we had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids. We had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers won't do it. And by law, I can't force additional time, I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side time spent in our buildings, and if they choose not to, then those funds can't. We had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers won't do it. And by law, I can't force additional time, I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side of how our systems are set up. A lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems. You're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems. You're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems.
with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Father, we just thank you. And we bring this offering to you today in the name of Jesus. Amen.
You know, I'm encouraged by today. We had a peaceful assembly. People were able to come forth and exercise their faith. And I felt the glory of God upon this place. You know, we're just so incredibly thankful for the work that Rebel Media is doing and the fight the fines. And we just pray for the Whistle Stop Cafe and everybody out there.
Adam Sos here for Rebel News, and I'm outside of the Church of Pastor Artur Pawlowski, as I have been seemingly for a month on every Saturday, and I'm happy to be here. It's important that we follow this story from the beginning until the very end. Now, Pastor Artur Pawlowski is not here today, and the reason for that is that he has a very important court date on Thursday, and the terms of his bail are very restrictive. If he were to attend today, there's a potential that he may be arrested today, and it may jeopardize his battle in court. That legal battle is an incredibly important one. It may set the precedent for many legal battles to come on the front of religious freedom, so he does not want to jeopardize that. But Pastor Peter here at the church has stepped up, and he's leading worship anyways. They're gathering outdoors, doing their very best to adhere to the restrictions because they don't want to jeopardize that legal battle. One of the things that's really struck me throughout this entire thing is no matter what happens, it's not been about Pastor Art Pawlowski. It's been about worship. It's been about God. It's been about serving people in the streets. When I talked with Dave Hughes, who was driving when Pastor Artur Pawlowski was arrested, he was the one actually driving the car he was pulled out of. His immediate concern for the week was not necessarily his pastor being arrested. Obviously he was upset, but it was how they were going to get to the homeless community in Calgary and feed them on the street. That's always been the priority, continuing the ministry. So now Pastor Peter has stepped up. If he were to be taken away, someone else would step up. I have a feeling that worship will continue here. Again, in line with the restrictions now, but worship will continue here regardless of how many people they lock up, as has happened at Grace Life Church in Alberta as well. Worship will continue.
Father, we just thank you. And we bring this offering to you today in the name of Jesus. Amen.
You know, I'm encouraged by today. We had a peaceful assembly. People were able to come forth and exercise their faith. And I felt the glory of God upon this place. You know, we're just so incredibly thankful for the work that Rebel Media is doing and the fight the fines. And we just pray for the Whistle Stop Cafe and everybody out there. And we just pray that justice, true justice, the justice that only God can bring, is served in all those matters. It's because of that we're able to gather here today. The judge ruling, overturning the province-wide lockdown. I can't even imagine it. A restraining order against an entire province. But God has made a way. So we thank God. See you at church.
All right, so what brings you out today, brother? How's the day going?
Yeah, it's a blessed day. Thank you, man. Blessed day.
And what do you think about the day? I've seen you at a few things. Why are you out here? What are you standing up for?
I'm here because I agree with our Charter of Rights and Freedoms in Canada. A lot of the things that have happened here they're illegal. I know that. I've known that been acquainted with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms myself for the last 15, 16 years. And I've been here now. This is my sixth Saturday in a row consecutively. I've known a little bit about Art Pawlowski and the Street Church Ministry since we've been in Calgary the last 10 years, and Alberta at large 15 years, and we're from back east. So.
Somebody asked us earlier what we're protesting, and I said we're not. We're supporting. We're out supporting the church and their ability to still be free and do what they do, and there's always those going by that are knocking everything, but that's okay. They'll wake up later and realize all their freedoms are gone, right?
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing the mic wasn't on. I would have called those guys effing morons.
By my office, by the supremacy of God, it's my responsibility, my conscience, to preserve the church.
We're just here in support, and we're going to go over to Memorial Park after this at 3 o'clock and support the World Walk for Freedom that is happening around the world. And at 1 o'clock till 2:30 at Princess Island, we're going to be there for just in support of people, to let people know they're not alone. We're all in this together, and we're fighting the cause, and we support Rebel.
Well, I do what I do, and I do what I can do. So I support the church, I support the rallies, and whatever can be done in controversy to all this tyranny in the world, I will do each and every day. That's what I do.
Just as we were wrapping up worship, we did have a visit from the Calgary Police helicopter. It did a few laps, but it has departed, and we haven't seen any police vehicles moving in since that time. I also just got off the phone with John Carpe, who brought us an important update, and I have a phone interview which we'll share separately, but he gave us an important update on the May 6th court order under which Artur Pawlowski was arrested. Now, it's basically stipulated that any Albertan attending a protest or event could simply be arrested. That has now been revoked. That's been basically, you can still receive a ticket for attending these events, but you can't simply be hauled away. So I encourage you to check out the interview that I did with John Carpe on that matter with an essential update. And again, despite a few helicopters flying over, worship should be wrapping up here momentarily. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sos.
Hey guys, this is extremely important. Rebel News is going to keep fighting to bring you the other side of the story, but it's only a matter of time before YouTube shuts us down entirely. So I need you to go to rebelnews.com now and sign up to make sure you don't miss out on any of the action.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
So really our main focus is to get him released. Once he's released, then we'll be able to get instructions from Artur on how he wants to go forward and when we can actually have a fair hearing for the contempt order.
Hey, Adam Sos here with Rebel News, and I am here with Sarah Miller of JSS Barristers. Sarah Miller is Artur Pawlowski's legal counsel, so she's going to give us a little bit, as much as she can, of an update as to what's going on with Artur Pawlowski.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So Artur was arrested yesterday, as your viewers saw, on the side of the road. We have a legal team who's been trying to track him down. We finally heard from his brother David, who was arrested at the same time under the same court order. We're currently trying to set up a bail hearing. We're in contact with the bail office with the Crown Prosecutor. We're trying to get him out of jail. We're trying to get him released on a summons, which is permitted under the Queen's Bench order that he was arrested under. His detention so far has been quite bizarre to us. We can't understand why he hasn't been released yet. We can't understand why it took them so long to get him in contact with his legal counsel. But we've been working all weekend since we found out he's been arrested, and we're trying to do our best to get him released and get him in front of the proper procedures now once we get him released.
And so because of the SaveArcher.com campaign, we have quite a legal team. How many people are working on this right now?
Yeah, so we have 3 lawyers right now, me and a partner from my office at JSS Barristers. We also have criminal law agent lawyers that we've are cooperating with right now to also work on the bail hearing. So we've got 3 to 4 lawyers at any given time, plus our staff and paralegals and stuff who are also helping us.
And so do we have much of a plan moving forward? Or are we still waiting to hear where are we at presently, and where are we going to go in the coming week?
Yeah, so right now we have a hearing on Tuesday afternoon. That was already scheduled before they arrested Artur. We probably won't proceed with that hearing. It was for a contempt hearing because he's been not listening to the court orders. Though that contempt hearing we're trying to get adjourned. I can't proceed without my client. He's unable to provide an affidavit. So really our main focus is to get him released. Once he's released, then we'll be able to get instructions from Artur on how he wants to go forward and when we can actually have a fair hearing for the contempt order.
Well, there you have it, an update from the legal counsel of Pastor Artur Pawlowski. We have a team of 3 lawyers working on the case presently. For all of you who have gone to saveartur.com and donated, thank you. It's because of your donation that we're able to mount this defense for Pastor Artur Pawlowski. We'll be certain to keep you posted on all the latest updates. Thanks so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Adam Sos.
Hello friends, this is Pastor Artur Pawlowski. If you're watching this video right now, that means I am in jail and they successfully arrested me. I don't know what is going to happen to me. I don't know what is happening outside, but I hope that you are still with me and you're willing to support me to get me out of this terrible, hard situation. Please pray for me. Please support if you can, and may God bless you for everything you're doing to help me to get out there and be the light in this dark world.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
It's open. Where are they? Why they're not here? This is such a hypocrisy that they have been hunting me for months to walk in. Well, it's open. Walk in and inspect if that's what you want. Where are they? I talked to the lawyers and we said, okay, fine. Let them inspect the facility if that's what they want to really do. But it's proving my point that there was never about inspecting the facility. This was about shutting us down. That's the purpose. And they couldn't shut us down today because of was too many people. It proves my point from the very
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Father, we just thank you. And we bring this offering to you today in the name of Jesus. Amen.
You know, I'm encouraged by today. We had a peaceful assembly. People were able to come forth and exercise their faith. And I felt the glory of God upon this place. We're just so incredibly thankful for the work that Rebel Media is doing and the fight the fines. And we just pray for the Whistle Stop Cafe and everybody out there.
Adam Sos here for Rebel News, and I'm outside of the Church of Pastor Artur Pawlowski, as I have been seemingly for a month on every Saturday, and I'm happy to be here. It's important that we follow this story from the beginning until the very end. Now, Pastor Artur Pawlowski is not here today, and the reason for that is that he has a very important court date on Thursday, and the terms of his bail are very restrictive. If he were to attend today, there's a potential that he may be arrested today, and it may jeopardize his battle in court. That legal battle is an incredibly important one. It may set the precedent for many legal battles battles to come on the front of religious freedom, so he does not want to jeopardize that. But Pastor Peter here at the church has stepped up, and he's leading worship anyways. They're gathering outdoors, doing their very best to adhere to the restrictions because they don't want to jeopardize that legal battle. One of the things that's really struck me throughout this entire thing is no matter what happens, it's not been about Pastor Art Pawlowski. It's been about worship. It's been about God. It's been about
We had a great plan to address student. We had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers won't do it. And by law, I can't force additional time. I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems. You're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems. Is that we had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations.
We've got years, but it's still, that's something that'll take an exorbitant amount of our time. But we're already brainstorming ideas for how we can use that money, but that guidance just dropped, last week or 10 days probably, so that's...
It's not final.
Yeah.
They can always make the changes. It's not final.
That's the interim final.
Interim final, right.
The rules that have been written on this napkin that will now go in the trash.
And I know that cities are apparently getting their own allotment, but are schools getting their own under this plan?
We're not getting our own allotment, it's part of your...
Okay. So I know that they're still discussing what ESSER 3 looks like for us. How it impacts any additional dollars is yet to be funneled to us. But I know that currently we don't have access to what we would consider ESSER 3, how that aligns that big carrier or everything else. I don't know. But I know that when this is all said and done, between Sparks, ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and what is supposed to be ESSER 3, University United is going to be looking at somewhere between $5 and $6 million additional dollars. Again, I think some of the same issues that you indicate.
retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
Redemption songs. I'm on TV, on Rebel News.
Express yourself, on social media. Use all the platforms that you can have to express yourself and say to your establishment politicians that you want to bring back your freedom.
Get up and stand up or you will lose your freedom. This is not a dress rehearsal, folks.
You can't trust mainstream media. You guys gotta support these guys. These guys tell the truth. David Menzies, all the way, baby.
In 2 weeks, everything's back to normal, guys. Premier Ford says so, and we're not naive to listen to him.
I dearly love Ontario, and I think of the song, the Ontario, a place to stand, a place to grow, and right now it's a place to cower, a place to stay at home, a place to snitch on your neighbors, and I think that's terrible, and we need to get back to Ontario again.
I actually think we're in the it's got to get bad before it gets good phase. So I'm actually quite hopeful for his future. I think his generation is going to come from parents like myself and others who speak up and who are vocal about what they want, and I think that can only do good things.
Well, the march has gone on. The protesters have left Queen's Park, and I'm hesitant to put a number on it. There was thousands, tens of thousands of people.
I'm quite hopeful for his future. I think his generation is going to come from parents like myself and others who speak up and who are vocal about what they want, and I think that can only do good things.
Well, the march has gone on. The protesters have left Queen's Park, and I'm hesitant to put a number on it. There was thousands, tens of thousands of people here. I watched them march out of Queen's Park, and it was a solid 20 minutes at least of them just getting out of this park alone. Didn't see any mainstream media within the actual protest. They sort of stayed on the peripheral. Double masked is what I saw. So I will look forward to seeing what the mainstream reports on that happened here at the Worldwide Freedom Rally in Queen's Park in downtown Toronto. We heard from several Canadians who just want freedom. They don't want to be told by our government to stay home. As you could see from the attendance here today, people are not staying home in Ford Nation.
Won't you help me sing the songs of freedom? Was all I ever had. Redemption songs. I'm on TV, on Rebel News.
Maxime, great to see you out. So you've been a constant advocate here at these rallies, and what has your experience been? Have you seen the growth happening at the protests?
Absolutely. I started to speak against these draconian lockdowns more than 10 months ago. And at that time, it was not so popular. But as you know, I'm traveling across the country. I was in BC, in Edmonton, in Saskatchewan, Regina, Saskatoon, and more people are coming to these rallies. And I think it's important if we want a big change in our country.
Well, they couldn't find their clothing. Should wear a towel and walk
through a crowd and not feel that weird vibe.
Niagara Falls. And I've never imagined that the Conservatives would be so anti-conservative in terms of their policy and in terms of their ideas. It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, we just wanted to come out and support and be with like-minded people. We're standing here kind of in awe at how it feels so nice to see faces and
maskless faces.
Smiles and close to people, move through a crowd and not feel that weird vibe, and we're just really happy to be here.
I don't know if you're familiar, but the Canadian Pediatric Society just came out and said that the harms of lockdowns are
more deaths and far.
Don't take it for granted.
Terrible sides of losing our freedoms, etc. But I actually think we're in it's got to get.
We had a great plan to address student learning and additional compensation for teachers for work for our kids, and it was turned down in negotiations because teachers didn't want to do it. And by law, I can't force additional time and I can't force additional days. So that is going to make it much more difficult for us to find a manner in which to expend those funds that is going to benefit kids. And you're going to see a lot of schools do a lot of really heinous things like HVAC systems and whatnot, because the teacher side of how our systems are set up have to agree to any additional time spent in our buildings. And if they choose not to, then those funds can't be utilized. It'll be a struggle. I don't know how they understand anything.
You will though. You will though.
I feel like he's a Dairy Queen director.
Yeah. You just hand them a box of Billy bars.
Onion rings.
We'll probably get through the 22 budget before we even really ramp up any kind of discussions on stimulus funds. Again, I believe it's 24. Like we have until 2024, maybe through the end of that.
Yeah, so 2 years from your last. You get 2 allocations, and it's 2 years from your last.
We have through September of 2024.
That's all I have.
Well, I mean, that's the good conversation, Linda, when you were saying, like, what are we talking about? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that it's important when Richard's not talking to Derek. You didn't get a hall pass, Richard. That's the important stuff to talk about here, because we don't necessarily talk about what the other entities are doing. And it's certainly a conversation that I think that we need to continue to have at these kind of meetings, because we can work smarter with the monies that are allocated. And we all know, everybody around the table knows, that these monies are not free monies. They didn't grow them on the trees. That it's coming from somewhere, and we have to be smart about it. And I know we're all fiscally sound about doing that. I will yield to FCDC. What's FCDC got going on?
We're doing some stuff with this guy. You heard about that. That ACT work keys, as Dr. Cobb said, is a major focal point. Really what the focus for FCDC is workforce. We've got like the rest of the country, we've got a workforce issue here. That's hindering growth of our existing industry, as well as hindering our opportunity to attract new industry. So we're going in it in a number of ways. Last month we did a blitz, communication blitz, to let people know there's jobs available right now, and trying to help fill some spots, taking individual requests from companies and kind of making phone calls and see if I can find people for them. But trying to look at this from a longer term perspective, and ACT Work Keys is a way that we can partner with our education and our industry together and build some pipelines that fit just to what Dr. Cobb was saying, specific needs of a specific industry, and kind of start to build, like I said, pipelines there. We also, you've heard me talk about NEPRIS, which again we're doing in partnership with the school district. Actually, Dr. Cobb and I will be on a Dog and Pony show in June or July with the industries, promoting both of these programs for their participation in NEPRIS and Work Keys, and build those bridges. I think there's a great opportunity to engage more directly with the industry and in partnership with our education partners, as well as Neosho and Ottawa University, and build some longer-term solutions for our workforce, and really try to get this to be a region that's producing workforce at a level that meets the demand, and maybe even helps us attract increased demand for that workforce. We're also doing things to help with the industry's recruitment and retention. We've got a panel discussion at Ottawa University on June 11th, And we've got 26 of the companies coming to that at this point in time, and really kind of help them talk through and share ideas on how to recruit workforce in creative ways, and how do you retain workforce in some creative ways. It's a different world where you can't just promote a job and people come to your door and you pick which one you want. You've got to go out and really be in the schools and be in the community and proactively recruiting your workforce. And so there's a bit of an education moment for a lot of our industry on that regard. So we're helping them with that. Also to attract workforce, we've just, thanks to the legislature, they expanded the ROZ program, the Rural Opportunity Zone program. And that's an incentive through payment, some payment on student debt, as well as potentially some tax credits for people that move into our county or into our city and work here and live here. And so, again, thanks to the Blaine legislature, they expanded that program to where Franklin County is now eligible. So the county, I've talked to Derek and Richard, and they'll be able to take some things to their commission and decide at what level or if they want to participate in that. I'll take that to Wellsville as well. But it's just another tool in our bucket to try and attract people to our community for workforce. And then on August 26th, we're having a big event down at Legacy Square, and I appreciate John and the Chamber's help with this. We're going to have a workforce and job fair at Legacy Square from 3 to 7. We'll have food trucks there. We'll have KOFO there from 3 to 5, and then Bop Daddies from 5 to 7. We'll give out chamber bucks for free food, or they can shop downtown and try and create a stir. And then we're going to be out recruiting industry to be there with booths to talk about their career opportunities to our community. Try to work with the schools. Dr. Cobbs and I have already had some discussion about how we can get students down there in the afternoon and learn about the career opportunities that are right here in Franklin County. So doing a lot of things right now on workforce development, because that's really an issue that, like I say, it's a national issue, so we're not alone, but I think if we can show different things we're doing short-term and long-term, then that sets us apart and really begins to help us attract industry and really help. I think another opportunity that I see that we're not even to meet is a lot of growth opportunity with our existing industry. Our existing industry, I've heard from a number of them, can do a lot more business than they're doing if they don't have the workforce. So we could grow jobs just by keeping the folks we have and supporting them. But we just can't do that right now. The other thing working on, again, workforce related, child care is an issue. And so I've been working since about January with some potential investors that are interested in building a child care center here in their community. They would provide services that maybe the current child care providers cannot, as far as early mornings, late evenings, weekends, drop-ins, sick babies, 6 kids. And also they would have a program where in the summertime your grade school kids have a place to go when mom and dad don't have a place for them at home or aren't home. So I've had some meetings with the city. I've been up, they're building an operation that they're expanding in Gardner right now. So we went and walked through that. I appreciated Richard when you were doing that with me. And then they're going to be here Tuesday, set up meetings with individual industries and sit down and talk about what kind of opportunities are there for partnering with them on the daycare operations. We are way underserved in our daycare providers from what the industry's going in. So we're trying to solve for that as well. So we may be able to track a daycare center here in the next few weeks. So that's my report.
Excellent, thank you.
Services that maybe the current child care providers cannot, as far as early morning. Like I say, it's a national issue, so we're not alone, but I think if we can show different things we're doing short-term and long-term, then that sets us apart and really begins to help us attract industry and really help. I think another opportunity that I see that we're not even to meet is a lot of growth opportunity with our existing industry. Our existing industry, I've heard from a number of them, can do a lot more business than they're doing if they don't have the workforce. So we could grow jobs just by keeping the folks we have and supporting them. But we just can't do that right now. The other thing working on, again, workforce-related childcare is an issue. And so I've been working since about January with some potential investors that are interested in building a child care center here in their community. They would provide some, because that's really an issue that, like I say, it's a national issue, so we're not alone, but I think if we can show different things we're doing short-term and long-term, and that sets us apart and really begins to help us attract industry and really help. I think another opportunity that I see that we're not even to meet is a lot of growth opportunity with our existing industry. Our existing industry, I've heard from a number of them, could do a lot more business than they're doing if they don't have the workforce. So we could grow jobs just by keeping the folks we have and supporting them. But we just can't do that right now. The other thing working on, again, workforce-related childcare is an issue. And so I've been working since about January with some potential investors that are interested in building a child care center here in their community. They would provide services that maybe the current child care providers cannot, as far as early mornings, late evenings, weekends, drop-ins, sick babies, sick kids. And also they would have a program where in the summertime your grade school kids have a place to go when mom and dad don't have a place for them at home or aren't home. So I've had some meetings with the city. I've been up, they're building an operation that they're expanding in Gardner right now. So we went and walked through that. I appreciated Richard when you were doing that with me. And then they're
Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
We'll leave. I've also heard of studies of secondhand smoke, and I really don't want my lungs to suffer from that from this lady's beautiful wife here. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. You too. Have a nice day. Oh, good, sir. How about yourself?
Just mind leaving them alone, okay? They don't want you talking to them, so could you just move on?
Here, why don't we go behind here?
Well, let's go over here.
Well, no, wait a second. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No.
They don't want you to talk to them, okay? So
Yeah, they're in a public place, officer, so I will talk to them.
Please move out of the way. I'm losing my patience.
moving out of the way right now.
5 times, okay?
Okay.
I'm standing in the roadway. I don't want to get hit by a car. So please move.
Here, come over here, officer. What is the crime I'm committing right now? What is the crime? I'm not obstructing you.
Please move out of the way, okay?
I am here asking.
Lawful order to leave these people alone. You're telling me you're not going to. So if you don't follow my directions, get your microphone out of my face.
You came to me, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Asking you to move back out of the way.
Okay, well, as far as I know, the practice of journalism is not illegal yet. So unless I'm mistaken, you can write me up for a ticket.
Happen, okay, Mr. Menzies? You're going to leave this area. I've asked you not to harass these people. If you come back and you speak with them, you will be arrested for.
I am on a public piece of land. You have no right whatsoever to make me leave this area.
I do have a right to allow.
Can you quote me the law, sir?
Okay, yeah, criminal harassment. Okay, they've asked you to not speak with them and not to bother them.
Conducting journalism, sir.
You are arrestable for that.
I am arrestable for harassment? Is he not able to answer the questions?
In the course of my duties to inform you that you are not to harass people. That's why I'm here speaking with you.
Okay, then you're going to write me a ticket for harassment.
I didn't say that I'm going to write you a ticket. I
Okay,
told
so
you
I'm trying to figure out
leave
what
these people alone, or you're going to get arrested for criminal harassment.
And I know you don't believe in freedom of the
You
press.
stand there and be quiet.
No, I will not be quiet.
Then you will be arrested if you approach these
Arrested for talking. Is that what we're into now? And asking questions is harassment?
If they don't want contact, yes, and absolutely.
Really? Can I see the criminal code violation that spells that out?
Yeah, anybody has a right to not be harassed. Okay, so
Okay, and
you can move away from me. Please get the microphone out of my face. Okay.
what is the benchmark of harassment?
Anybody that doesn't want to be harassed. Okay, please move out of the way. I've told you.
I think you're harassing me, officer. I'd sure love to see the proviso of the criminal code that says a journalist can't ask questions. I know that exists in North Korea. I know that exists in Iran. But in Elmer, well, I guess these guys are misplaced officers. They would be cops of the year in those kind of dictatorships, I should think.
Absolutely outrageous. Our friend David Menzies, who held his own admirably, joins us now in studio. David, where was that? Aylmer, I understand that's where the Church of God, Pastor Hildebrand, was. Their church was raided by police, in my opinion, an illegal and unconstitutional raid, but let's put that aside. Where were you and who were you talking to when these busybody cops came up to you and said, stop doing journalism?
Yes, Ezra, that is directly across a major artery that runs into Elmer, right across the street from the Church of God in Elmer. And we pulled over because there is, and I'm not making this up, Elmer's only a town of 7,000. Members of the trans community, which I think is 2, were staging a protest on the side. So in that SUV, there were 2 people, and they were, I don't know why they were protesting the church. They kind of got their way. The doors were locked on Friday by court order. The church was fined $117,000, which they do not have in their coffers. And I guess they were protesting the fact that there's an outdoor assembly. So my line of questions were along the lines of, why are you concerned about congregants getting together outdoors, Ezra, whereas, as we saw last summer, Black Lives Matter protesters in greater numbers getting together, as we saw on the weekend as well, pro-Hamas demonstrators getting together. And also we know from top infectious disease experts that the chance of outdoor transmission at a protest, at a religious gathering, is virtually 0.
Yeah.
And further to the fact, I don't even remember, I can't remember, we had a, it was not a pleasant exchange back and forth, but I don't remember them saying, go away, I'm not talking to you, you're harassing me. The cop made that narrative.
Yeah, the cop was not involved in your conversation with the trans folks, am I right?
That's right.
He wasn't even there, he didn't even hear it.
Well, as you saw, when the police approached me, I was at a red minivan. It was full of Rebel fans. They couldn't go on camera, of course, because I think they have of jobs where they'll be fired from, such as our society.
You made some
But
joke
you
about
saw the
smoking or something. So so they came up to you afterwards.
Yeah, the no smoking thing, Ezra, was the woman in the SUV, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but she was obese. She was lighting up a cigarette.
Yeah,
and
it was a
she
joke. It doesn't even matter what it was. My point is that the cops were not involved in your conversation with the trans folks at all.
Yeah, and the conversation had ended by the time they got on the scene.
You know, there's so many things wrong with this. First of all, and you held your own very admirably. First of all, never turn the camera off.
Oh, we didn't.
I know you didn't, and I'm glad you didn't. Just because some cop says turn off the camera, I can conceive of no place where a policeman would have lawful authority to ever tell someone to turn off the camera, other than perhaps in a private bathroom or changing room.
Correct.
Where privacy is required.
Yes.
Other than that, for a cop to say stop filming at a public street, a public protest about an event in the public interest, when someone is coming to protest, they, through their conduct, invite media scrutiny. And for these police, these officious intermeddlers, to inject themselves, actually not even to inject themselves, they weren't even part of your conversation with the trans. They came up afterwards because they hate you.
Yeah.
And they knew your name.
Yeah.
Because they follow you on Rebel News, because you are the only journalist, one of the few journalists, Rebel News is one of the few journalism organizations, that scrutinizes and criticizes these lockdown bullies. So they hate you for a pre-existing reason, and they were just trying to shut you up and make some excuse up.
Yeah, in fact, I want to touch upon what you just said, Ezra. The ostensible policy reason, I would think, of a protest is to get the message out to as many people as possible. Even if you hate little old Rebel News, that's besides the point. We're going to get this message, whatever their message was, out to far more people than them just screaming on a roadside, and honking their horn. So it goes against the very idea of having a protest in the first place. But this officer, I think he was making up things that goes along.
Absolutely. I know a little bit about the law of criminal harassment, and you have to repeatedly, on multiple occasions, stalk someone or beset them in a manner that is threatening to them.
Yes.
None of those, and there's several other elements. Don't have the criminal code in front of me, but for him to say you having a mutually voluntary conversation with a public protester in your capacity as a public interest journalist, where you're not threatening, you're not stalking, where you had already left, he is lying. I don't think he's that stupid. I think he and his boss there were trying to come up with reasons to paper over their pure distaste for you. But they live in a still free country. I got to tell you, David, I'm so mad at their misconduct. I think 99% of journalists would have fled saying, oh, please don't charge me, officer. I think you know enough to stand your ground, but it's not enough just to stand your ground. And I'm glad we put the names of those two coward. I'm embarrassed to call them cops. They're destroying trust and respect and any admiration for the police. I have to say, the amount of damage that the police of this country have done to the reputation the last year and a half will take decades to rebuild. And these are amongst two of the worst. I don't think it's enough for you to have stood your ground, because two armed cops threatening you with arrest, and one of them even for a moment there said, if you continue to ask questions. Really? Really? I think it behooves you and us to file an official complaint against those cops with whatever the Police Complaints Commission is in Aylmer. I don't think those cops did anything worthy of a lawsuit. They didn't assault you, as has happened to our people before. They didn't falsely imprison you or handcuff you or falsely arrest you. But they're unprofessional, misleading. I mean, you were bloody right when you said, you're almost harassing me, officer. That was the harassment. That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy. Fire? Simple. all connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Protection against burglary? Easy.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring. Fire? Simple. All connected to 24/7 professional monitoring.
They know what is right and what is wrong.
James Kitchen tells me that his client, Pastor Stevens, says CPS, that's Calgary Police Service, told him they arrested him under that old order, which is now no longer in effect. Kitchen says, and I quote, Tim's arrest is unlawful in every sense of the word, even more so than Archer's was. Tim will end up spending the night in jail unless CPS release him. I'll be attempting to effect his release tomorrow morning, end quote. So friends, that's the update. Sheila Gunn-Reid for Rebel News, and I've got a quick update to the story of the arrest of Pastor Tim Stevens of Fairview Baptist Church in Calgary on Sunday. He was taken into custody after services at his church by Calgary City Police in front of his wife and children. Rebel News videographer Kian Simone was on the scene as it happened with this exclusive footage.
Do you have any questions about this right now?
He is the lawyer for Pastor Tim Stevens, as Pastor Tim has been holding services at his church that are not.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is David Miller. Here's a mic. I'm a court enforcement officer, commonly known as a sheriff. I have a valid court order here today requiring the sheriff, that's me, and the assistance of the police to vacate everyone from the building, and we will be locking the building.
I should say that this was not the only church that was persecuted this weekend by the government. In Aylmer, Ontario, a church that's been picked on for months, incredible footage. The police literally walked right into the service, in my opinion, violating Section 176(2) of the Criminal Code. That criminal code makes it an actual crime to disrupt or interrupt a religious gathering. Well, apparently the police are above the law. Do we have the footage of that break-in into the church? Here, let's take a look.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Just read a scripture for you, 2 verses out of Daniel chapter 3, verse 18. Verse 17. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand. But if not, be it known unto thee, O King, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Amen? That's a prayer. Father, we thank you this afternoon that you are our God. Thank you, Lord, that with real love in our hearts, we look at these officers, Father, and we pray for their souls. Lord, surely they feel your presence, and Lord, they know what is right and what is